Hey, it's Magnus here. I thought I would make a short video on how the titanium toed magnetic slider came about. There's a sort of few versions I went through to get to it. This won't be a long video, just a sort of history of it. This is the first one. We'll get to that ugly, hideous thing in just a second. But what I'll do is I'll start right at the beginning, which is the first attempt at a slider I made, which is this. This is titanium, quite small. Please excuse my hands. They're quite they're workshop hands, a bit dirty and wrecked, but it is what it is. So this is titanium. I can hardly even remember how this was months ago. I attempted to make a slider and wasn't happy with the result. So I sort of took a step back and worked on other things for a while. It's got detent balls, which you can see there. The main issue here, the reason I stopped was because of, if I can get this the right way around, listen to this. You can probably hear that, just the sound. Within seconds of making it and putting it together, I knew that titanium on titanium just wasn't going to work. It was going to be scratchy. So I scrapped that. A month or two later, or maybe a month later, I had to go at this. So this is hardened steel plate. So it's hard to see what this is. This is just a crude prototype, and this is where you're gonna see my my level of stupidity. A total moment of non-thinking and just idiocy. So magnets. I only put half the amount in. There was going to be 6 and 6. Like I said, hardened steel. I thought, oh, genius, Magnus. Hardened steel. They'll be very smooth, which it is. I mean, these plates here, I don't know if you can see them. They're unbelievably smooth and unbelievably hard. There's something like 68 Rockwell, so really, really hard. So when you put them together, they are just silent. Nothing. But stainless steel. It's magnetic. So instead of 3 magnets and 3 magnets, I ended up with one giant magnet. Just the whole thing becomes magnetic. I don't know why I had a sort of brain lapse there, or whatever you call it. So it takes all your force to get it apart. So I threw that to the side, left it for a few months, and this is where I come up with this hideous little thing. Not the overall shape. The overall shape took me a little bit to design. This is the sort of classic toad shape, pretty much. Maybe a little tweak here or there. Of the titanium one, but we'll get to that in just a second. So what I did was I made it out of brass. I thought, well, I'm pretty sure brass will be, a lot smoother on itself than titanium. And so what I did was, I was pretty sure I was going to have to put, plates in and hide the magnets, that kind of thing. But just as a crude prototype, because one of my things I do or I believe in sort of concepts, is fail fast. Just, if you got an idea, just get it out of the way as fast as you can and prove that it's not going to work, because most ideas don't work. Certainly most of my ideas don't work. So what I did is I just put the magnets in from the other side and put kind of like blue tack in just to hold them in. And that was good enough. There was 0.5 mil of brass here before the magnets. So by the time you put them together, there's 1 millimeter of brass between the magnets, and the magnets are quite powerful. I think I can't remember how you pronounce it, neodymium or something. Rare earth magnets or neodymium. 6 mil diameter by 3 millimeters long cylinders, so they're quite powerful. And this was the proof of concept. This is the one that I was just like, yep, that is going to work. And obviously, this was also trying the overall sort of ergonomics of it as well, like how it would function, sort of where you can position your thumbs and things like that. So that was a sort of couple of proofs of concept, and so it worked. So the next stage was to see how it would work with plates behind it. So we'll get rid of that there. So the next one was, I believe, this one. So I thought I thought I'd put more grip. So you can see this is quite smooth, and I found that didn't quite have enough grip there. So this is where this one came in, and this, just for fun, I made it out of copper as well, no reason. So I did I think one plate like this, and by the time I finished that plate, I thought, oh, you know what? Let's put some cross lines in there and just give it, give it that kind of I don't know, crisscross pattern, whatever you want to call it. So this was sort of the first fully working prototype. 2 brass plates, which you can see now. This one was actually, it might be a combination of 2. This, you can actually see, yeah, so I think there's one of these somewhere else, but I don't even see the color difference here. This was brass and this is phosphor bronze. I found that working quite well, so I've actually sold a few of this version, the copper one, and each of the plates is a different type of metal. So phosphor bronze and brass flat plate worked better than brass and brass. It's sort of initially it feels a little bit scratchy, but after 30 minutes or an hour, you run it in. I don't know if you can hear that. It's just a little bit of a shush, kind of a swoosh sound when you use it, but it's sort of it gets quieter as you use it. And so that was sort of like almost ready to go. And what did I do after that? I think I tried 2 phosphor. Sorry, I'm kind of talking rubbish here. I tried 2 brass plates, which I think would be this one and this one. Yes, so I'm talking rubbish. So this was the second prototype. So that, but 2 brass plates, and then after that, sorry, I'm getting the order of events here a little bit off. After that, I tried this. So kept another copper one, the new crosshatch pattern, because it worked a lot better, looks a lot better, I think. Well, it just looks different. And then this was the 2 phosphor bronze. So you can see that's phosphor bronze there. And then the previous one was 2 brass. So the 2 brass worked pretty well. The 2 phosphor bronze, not so good. They started off kind of gritty sounding, smooth but gritty sounding, and they just didn't get any better. So what I did was I put one brass one away, the other brass one away, and I thought, hey, look, let's try one. I'll have to use the other one. I'll use 1 phosphor bronze and 1 copper, and that was essentially the third one that came about, and that worked really well. That was better than brass and brass. So I sold a few of those. They sold pretty quick. Now after that, someone gave me the idea of putting some dimples, kind of like the dimples on a golf ball, putting some dimples in there to reduce friction. Now I didn't think it would work. I thought I'll do it anyway, but I thought, how's it going to reduce friction? There's just going to be more pressure on less area. But turns out it worked. It just blew my mind how well it worked. I don't know enough about metal to understand, or the dynamics to understand why, but I think 2 things are happening. One is less surface area, so less friction, but then the other thing is that there's more force per area, so I don't quite understand that, but let's say just less friction. And the other thing is, I think, because as you rub them, if you look at, say, this, the older one, it gets pretty scratchy and dirty. The metal's perhaps wearing a little bit, or there's dust getting in, or oils from your fingers. And so I think that these are self-cleaning. Just a theory, could be wrong, but I think these might be self-cleaning. So, because, I don't know if you can see it, but this has been well used, this one, really. I've had a good few hours on this, and the plates just look fine. I've not like rubbed them against my jeans or anything. This is the first time looking at them since I made the titanium one. So, and that was it. So back to brass and brass, because I'm pretty sure I could use brass, phosphor bronze, copper, anything. I think there's something about these dimples that just make it so well, it's ridiculous. And so once I proved that, then came finally the titanium one. I didn't want to make the titanium one until I got the functioning sorted. And so there's a sort of 2-tone of, this one's pretty beat up. I've been using it a lot. So there's the 2-tone of the brass with the dimples and the titanium outside. Now I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but there's a bit of a, I'll do it up here. There's a bit of a clinky sound with that one, whereas if you go for the brass, hear that. So I don't know if you can. So yeah, so that's how this came about, and I'm still tweaking it even now. It's pretty much done, so I'm just sort of making sure it's dialed in. The internals are good, and you know, it comes off the machine. Production goes well, and is consistent. Now I'll show you one little last thing, and that is another prototype I'm working on. I have a bit of a I'm always coming out with new products, new things. It's just sort of in me. So I tend not to, you know, I get a design, it's working well, it's popular, it's selling like crazy, but I'm already kind of working on the next thing. So this is another slider design. So again, dimples, magnets, same magnet spacing as the Toad one, but this is just, I just machined this today, it's Sunday, and just tumbled it as well, so hopefully you can see that's got a nice sheen to it. It is a prototype, there's a few things wrong with it. I never sanded everything, so there's some, you'll maybe see some lines there, and also this is sort of where the magnet goes, the board, the counter board for the magnets is sort of breaking through here and here. But I think it'll be interesting to see this one. I think it's gonna work quite well. I just kind of wanted to have the overall concept I wanted to go for. I wanted to have an X somehow. It's not how I initially envisaged it, but the way it turned out was actually not worse or not better, but just different how I initially planned. But I quite like the stepped kind of feel to it, because the you know, the Toad obviously has a contoured way, but the main thing is that you can push from this side and from this side, and that's what this has got as well. You can push from this side and from this side. So that's just a sneak preview of that one. I will do more on that later, but yeah, any questions or any other videos or anything you want to see, let me know. Thank you.